Welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you stack silver and you like your news to be unfiltered, uncensored, and unbiased, then you've come to the right place because I post videos every single day of the week. Check this out. This article came out today, fresh off the press. 5 reasons why experts think that silver could surpass $50. Going into this massive chart, we'll break down a little bit, but even more interestingly, a long-term price forecast of $300 an ounce. You could see why I found this article to be interesting, and anytime someone sticks their neck out there and goes against the grain saying, you know what, silver could break above $50, and you know what, it could hit $300 soon. That's the long-term forecast. How long is this long-term, quote unquote? That's, maybe they'll mention it, I don't know. But that is up to interpretation. A lot of people might take that out of context. If I make a video that says silver is going to explode soon, that soon, the last word, soon, someone might think I mean next week, but soon could also be next year. In the grand scheme of things, soon really has that holds no weight since you're not explaining an actual time frame. Well, I do try to give time frames because I want people to I don't want people to leave it up to their imagination of what I mean. I say silver is going to break above triple digits and actually quote unquote explode in the year 2025, 2026. I think that is when everything will fall in line enough to where it's inevitable. No amount of suppression, no manipulation. The COMEX will be falling through the ground. The dollar will be basically flat. I think by then silver's true value will shine, especially, and I didn't even mention the industrial side of things, the supply and demand dynamics and how much silver we need, especially deep enough into this green new era where we're starting to see the lack of silver. I think by then, 2025, 2026, that's when I think things could really take off for silver, in my humble opinion. So when I say soon, that's the time frame. Year and a half, 2 years, around then, give or take, since there's so many unknown variables nobody can predict. But that is where I am. Hopefully in this article, they throw out some years as well. I know the chart does show down here. It goes from 2004 to 2027, so it is looking so. So I think this is going to be a great video. Let me know in the comment section below what you think silver is going to do. When do you think it will break above triple digits? And, why? So here we go. 5 reasons experts think silver could surpass $50. The silver price is poised to advance, experts purport, and each a handful of expected catalysts should spur it higher. Though we have left 2023 winter holiday season behind, silver bells keep ringing, signaling likely increases in the metal's price in the new year. Silver prices could experience an explosive rise in 2024. John Newell, President, Chief Executive Officer, and Director of Golden Sky Minerals Corp., a Canadian minerals explorer. Fundamentals for the silver market are extremely bullish, and yet you can't argue that. Even if you hate silver, no matter what, you cannot argue that the fundamentals are extremely explosive. Nothing even comes close to, like, let's say you're taking an investing class in college and your professor talks about investing into something and what gives assets potential and looking for different clues and different signals to try to find the perfect investment. Silver by far would fit the #1 category in terms of just realistically, logistically looking at data and looking at the potential. Silver definitely takes the cake. Rick Mills, also optimistic, wrote in his December 24th newsletter at Head of the Herd, we see strong upside for silver as we head into 2024. So here is this chart, this massive chart. So it goes back to 2004. Obviously, you see right here the 2008 situation, which led to $50 silver 3 years later, this huge rise. And you see it went back down for years and years. Average price of silver is about $15 for the last decade. And that's the majority of where I've been stacking. But you could see it is starting to come back up. And they give some boxes right here. Major support line, which is important. Potential base building that is necessary to build power to break out. And they're pointing towards this right here, which is happening in 2023. And then they say target $35 in 2025. And then they say a bigger picture, $70 around 2026. And if silver breaks above $50, guarantee $100 silver is coming shortly after. Why? Because of the $50 resistance level, the psychological resistance level. Since silver hit $50 in 1980 and hit that brick wall in 2011 as well again, there's a lot of resistance there. And if it broke above that, it would skyrocket really fast in overbought territory, and then it would shoot back down real quick. And that's a very dangerous time to invest, is when especially with something like silver, which is so volatile, it's going to explode probably to $70 within a couple of days. I'm not even kidding. Then everyone's going to buy at $70, and then it's going to correct back down because it needs to. It's called a pullback. It's a correction. And then when it goes back down, everyone's going to panic sell. So they're going to buy at 70 and probably sell when it goes back down to like 49, 52, whatever. And that's what most investors do. They try to hop on something when all the hype is there after it's already taking off. So they're buying extremely high. And then when it comes back down, they think they made a mistake and they sell it. So they just made a loss. That's how the average person invests, unfortunately. All off of emotions without any research into that asset that they're investing into. So the catalyst. Experts said these 5 trends and events which they likely anticipate happening in 2024, should boost the silver price. So I like that they gave 5 different trends and events which could happen in 2024. I'm glad they give a time frame. I hate when articles say things theoretically but never give a time frame. Now they're actually saying something. This year, 2024, the year of the election, the year of all of these things, these situations that will be happening could affect. I like that they actually said this year. 1, gold continues to rally. Historically, silver's done well during the end of a gold rally, wrote financial expert Chen Lin in the December article 2023, Dawn of the Silver Boom. Earlier this month, gold and silver hit their year-to-date price highs of $2,115 and $25.91 an ounce. And that's respectively. Since both subsequently retracted, gold has been rallying, but silver remains stagnant in the $24 range. That means, Lin added, referring to its historical performance pattern, silver will likely test the $50 mark and is likely to exceed it. Wow. Now, the time frame, though, I don't think he means in 2024, but when silver, I mean, you can't always compare historically what an asset's going to do, but silver always does follow gold. It lags a lot. Some people say a little bit, a lot. It lags behind. But when it does come back, which it always does, it just takes a second. But the gold to silver ratio, which is the greatest tool to look at that, will show. And right now, it hasn't yet because the ratio is still sitting at like 80-1. Watch when it starts to come back down to the mid-70 level and maybe even lower than that. That's when silver is going to start catching up. Silver demand increases. Silver demand is projected to continue growing, driven by several sectors, including solar energy, industrials, vehicles, consumer electronics, 5G technology. Newell pointed out, the greater the demand, the higher the price of silver. Now let me break this down very clearly. There is a direct correlation between silver demand and silver's price. Silver's price, if you look at a chart, it's almost identical. When silver demand grows, the price grows almost identical. So if we know that over the next decade, silver demand is going to be booming as we need all of this silver going green, we know demand is going to be booming. What does that tell us about the price? The price is going to do what? Boom. It's not rocket science, but silver is used in rockets. According to the Silver Institute's World Silver Survey 2023, which actually just came out today, the newest one, which I can actually highlight real quick. This came out today. They said, let me actually go to the real one. This might be it. No, it's not, because they talk about silver actually did something pretty cool. So silver did break record demands this year. Let me actually just go straight to the source. Hold on, folks. Hold on, just hang with me. Here we go. This is it. This came out today. Global silver industrial demand forecast to reach new highs in 2023. Another huge deficit. So they go into some other things as well. Nanoparticles added to natural fabric dyes enhances color, fastness, and vibrancy. I mean, they're finding so many different things that silver is used for. But yeah, so they've been updating it, revising it, but it is record-breaking demand right now, which who knows how many billions of ounces it would be in the year 2030, 2040. So the next generation of photovoltaic panels is going to need 2,550% more silver for greater efficiency. And not only that, they're going to try to use silver to replace palladium because palladium is so expensive. If silver can do palladium's job, then why not replace silver? It would cut back the cost of production dramatically. But that means that's another whole sector that silver is going to be needed for, meaning it's soaking up even more demand. So think about this. Silver is just so efficient, as it's the most highly conductive metal, that nothing can compete with it. And they're just electronically, they're just going to use it in everything. Sprinkle it in here. You know, platinum, palladium's so expensive. If silver can do palladium's job in that, just remove the palladium and let's put silver in that thing. But there's not much silver. Everyone wants a slice of the silver pie, but there's just not enough pie to go around. So silver demand for soldering and brazing in new vehicles is projected to grow 23% by 2030. For 5G technology, semiconductor chips, cabling, electromechanical systems, and the Internet of Things connected devices, it is forecast to double by the year 2025. So that's 5G doubling 2025, 23% for soldering and brazing, and then solar panel demand is up like 15-20% this year alone. And then think of EVs. Everything is booming, but we're already huge deficits, which is the next point. All of this need for metal points to a structural silver shortage for decades to come. All right, and that's the thing I don't think people they're not looking at the macro. They're looking at just this year. You know, many people said, well, actually demand wasn't that high this year, which actually news broke that it was. But regardless, even if it wasn't, okay, you're looking at 1 year. 1 year, which we're already hundreds of millions of ounces in the red regardless, and the year before, and the year before. But what about in 5 years? What about in 10 years? What about in 15 years? Like, people aren't looking at the bigger picture. I don't know if it's purposely, maybe, if they're trying to just shed their own narrative and try to mislead people to think, oh, maybe this isn't all up, all this hype is up where it's meant to be, or I don't know. But you got to you can't just look 1 year ahead and think that you have a grasp on where it's headed. So the silver deficit persists. Already, silver is in undersupply for the third year in a row, like I just said, Lynn wrote. Should this trend continue into 2024, as it is likely, it would be positive for the price of silver. In 2023, global silver demand was 1.21 billion ounces, but only 820 million ounces were produced, according to the Silver Institute. Worldwide mine production of silver was 2% lower in 2022 than in 2023. Mine production's been drastically pulling back for 7-8 years now. 820 million ounces on a good year, but demand is over a billion, well over a billion ounces now. Some saying could be up to 1.4 billion ounces, and that's not even including the military sector and other critical sectors that use up a lot of silver, so it's much higher than that. But in order for silver production to catch up with demand, many new primary silver mines need to be built. But guess what? Primary silver mines don't mine much silver, and most of them are protested shut down because silver is a byproduct. It needs to be high for an extended period of time. for miners to even want to look for it. Why would you want to waste your time looking for silver, which is extremely hard to find? There's only so much silver in the Earth's crust. Silver arrived here with gold on asteroids and meteors and comets. It's not like it just is made in the Earth's crust, in the mantle. It's not. It comes here from space. And silver is a byproduct. Why, if you're a miner and you're trying to profit or whatever, why spend your time looking for something like silver that's $25 an ounce when you could be looking for something like gold that is above $2,000 an ounce? It would be silly, right? Interest rates are cut. U.S. Federal Reserve projected it will reverse course next year and reduce rather than increase interest rates, potentially 3 times. Historically, lower interest rates tend to be favorable for precious metals like silver, as they can reduce opportunity costs of holding non-interest-bearing assets. 5. Silver sentiment grows. Were investor interest in silver to increase, noted Newell, it could help boost the metal's price. So here's the long-term forecast for $300 an ounce. The precious metals expert Peter Cross believes we are in the middle of a silver bull market that began in 2001, he wrote recently in the Silver Stock Investor newsletter. Looking further ahead, he projected, I think silver's bull run could run for the rest of this decade, leaving us with 6 to 7 years to go. My target price over the next few years for silver is to reach at least $300, but that will include volatility and corrections, of course. He continued, there will be opportunities to lock in profits along the way, especially in silver stock. You just need to have a core position you're willing to hold through corrections for maximum gains. Overall, a higher and rising price for silver would be excellent news for silver mining companies, from explorers to producers. So, yeah, there you have it. He did make a good point. Moving forwards the next 7 years, he's saying it's going to continue to grow, and prices will have opportunity. I mean, people will have opportunity to capitalize on that, but in my opinion, I prefer just buying it and holding it, just buying silver, throwing it in your safe or whatever, 6 feet in your backyard, in a hole, wherever, or safety deposit box or a storage unit. But just make sure it's not in a shoebox under your bed. But in all seriousness, I want to ask you guys a question, because this is an interesting question that I feel like I don't ask enough that I should, as I have a channel where people listen to me speak. What price would you throw in the towel in regards to buying an ounce of silver? Like, if silver hits $123.62 an ounce, would you still buy it? Would you still pay for an ounce of silver when the price is $123.62? And if you would or wouldn't, what price would you throw in the towel? Also, flip that on the other side. What price would you throw in the towel and say, I'm ready to sell, if you ever were going to sell? Some people probably ever won't. I know a lot of you won't, but let's say you are planning to sell someday. What price would you say, okay, silver's this price now, okay, I'm ready to sell. I'm ready to let go. So you could look at it from a buying perspective. When are you done buying? What price is too high for you to buy? And also, what price is high enough where you're willing to sell? I would love for you guys to answer that question. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Been trying to make a lot of content lately, lots of videos, been busy. If you guys wanted to purchase Silver Slayer at milesfranklin.com, I'll hook you guys up. New deals are going to be in shortly. I will post them in my next video, as they should be in by then. Thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.